very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. My name is Leon Jooste, your host for tonight. Let's have a look at today's front page of Namibian Sun. Today, we are welcoming back to the show the Secretary General of the National Union of Namibian Workers, NUNW, Job Muniaro, who on Wednesday this week is expected, of course, alongside others, to lead a protest against the liquidation of Air Namibia. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Muniaro.
Thank you very much. Thank you to host me again.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a pleasure. So Wednesday, the 17th, I think, of February, you are leading, of course, the Federation is leading this protest. What is the aim of the protest?
You see, it's a peaceful demonstration.
Yeah.
That will take place on Wednesday, 17th, from 9 o'clock. It is about the voluntary liquidation of Air Namibia. The liquidation to us came as a surprise.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know what would be the biggest reason why we should liquidate ourselves and auction ourselves too. Air Namibia does not belong to individuals.
Yeah.
Air Namibia belongs to the country. Air Namibia has a lot of business attachment to it. The economy of this country is attached to that. The tourism is attached to that. The lodges and hotels of this country is attached to that. And we have employment of 600 workers that works for it. And we have shuttle workers that is shuttling tourists between airports and lodges and hotels. We have people who cooks for that. Flamingo and other companies that supply food to it. We have also those that are supplying food to the restaurants in order for them to supply, especially the farmers and the butcheries. We have also the issue of the lodges receiving the tourists brought by Air Namibia. Approximately close to 40% of them, of the tourists visiting our country, use Air Namibia. So for us, it's a surprise to hear that because we owe a certain company a certain amount of money, the airline must go under a hammer. The other time I was saying, don't fix the property. Fix the driver of the property.
Yeah.
How can you sell a car because the person that's driving the car is not having a license?
Yeah.
So it's not fair.
So,
So I'm saying, as a Namibian, not as a worker, I would not want to let go a national pride of this country.
Yeah.
Just to go and hammer like that.
I hear you.
Yes.
So when you talk about national pride, Mr. Muniaro, and I know in fairness you have listed a number of benefits that come from the fact that from an operational Air Namibia. But other than that, really, if you are told that for the past 10 years, Air Namibia has taken up 8-point-something billion of your money and mine as taxpayers, and there are no financial reports, there are never edited reports, this is a troublesome company to this economy, would you not say?
Yes, well said. I could have been ashamed to have that responsibility and misuse state funds and then come and tell people for the past 8 years we have been misusing the fund. We have not been managing government money. And then I'm going to tell proudly that for the past 10 years we have been investing in zero. You really want to tell me for the past 10 years they have been accepting to work with people who has no accountability to our money? Yet they want to sell the airline because they were managing the airline for 10 years and come proudly out and tell the nation that we must back them to do that. They could have all resigned.
I hear you. But listen to this scenario, Mr. Muniaro. Your demonstration is on the 17th, which is Wednesday. Thursday this week, the 18th, Air Namibia is expected to pay 107 million to Challenge Air that actually brought the first liquidation application to the High Court. And I can tell you now, Mr. Muniaro, that Challenge Air is not even the company owed the most money by Air Namibia. There are even bigger creditors who are owed so much money by this company. The fact, do you think actually that Air Namibia is in a position, if it's not liquidated by Thursday, do you think this is the company that is worth preserving and will be in a position to adhere to the ruling of the High Court, which is to pay that 107 million? Or where must that come from?
Comrade, I don't want to tell things as if we speak to robots.
Yeah.
This country has enough resources. If you wanted to pay these debts off, why do you not just take a 5-ton of fish quotas and give it to a company and get 500,000 and pay it up, 500 million and pay it up? We need commitment. We no longer need political will. The will is there. The political will belongs to us that votes for parties. We need committed people. Why do we want to say there's no money? It's not true.
Because when you start saying that, Mr. Muniaro, industries are created to sustain themselves. If you have aviation, which is the space in which Air Namibia operates, you have fishing, you have mining. Ideally, if you want to run a successful economy, you don't want fishing sustaining aviation, aviation sustaining mining. Each industry must sustain itself. The very fact that you would rely on fishing quotas, as an example, of course, that you used, means that aviation is not working. So why hold on to it?
I'm saying aviation is working. It has never made to work. That's why they have failed. So how do you prove that aviation is not working if you have failed from day one? It tells you somewhere you have put wrong people at the right places. And you still want to complain. Remove them and put right people and see whether aviation will not succeed.
The change of guard that you're talking about, which is to change management and the leadership, will that be sort of, what will be your demands? Because on Wednesday, because it's one thing to say, oh, please maintain the company, do not liquidate it and whatnot. But you ought to propose interventions that, yes, do not liquidate, but implement A, B, C, and D, so that we see the company take off eventually. Are you going to, is the change of guard going to be one of your demands on Wednesday?
Yes, correct. Let us be honest.
Yeah.
That company has never been reached to become bankrupt.
Yeah.
It started bankrupt and up to now still bankrupt.
Yeah.
So it tells you the money that is invested there, there's no accountability. How do you want me to say there's no solution? The alternative to save that airline, let us save it to Wednesday. Give it to us. Let us all be part and parcel of that responsibility. I'm attesting to you. Reverse it.
Yeah.
Try us. There were proposals on table that was the best to be used in order to turn around this company. Why was it not used?
Yeah.
It was ignored because people want to put it under hammer.
But why do you think, because there's also a lot of theories, everybody chipping in with their own school of thoughts as to why the company is being liquidated. Do you subscribe to any of these schools of thought to say you think that the company is being liquidated for any particular reason? Is it the self-serving agenda that is taking place?
When you have a pain in your body, you have never fallen, you have never been kicked by a horse, why do you want to drink painkillers?
Yeah.
There is a pain. The pain is there.
Yeah.
And that pain did not come from itself. That's why the Shiwambo speaking, people say, what eats the bin is in the bin.
What is eating the bin is inside the bin.
What eats the bin is in the bin.
I hear you. But I want to take
that small animal in that bin.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Indeed. No, I hear you. I want my technical colleagues to screen a slide on the top 5 creditors that are owed money by Air Namibia. So, because people talk about Challenge Air, if you look at that slide, Mr. Muniaro, the biggest creditor here is Namibia Airports Company. Our own entity, state entity, owned nearly $1 billion. The receiver of revenue, yet the taxpayer, the taxman, is owed 475 million. Challenge Air, which people think is the reason why the company is being liquidated, is only actually third on that list. And then, of course, you have the Aviation Authority there owed 75,000, and Engine, which I suppose provides fuel for the planes, owed 24 million. That is not a workable. That is not an institution in a workable condition. We are hearing that there is a proposition to liquidate and then start a smaller, leaner national airline with really, which will be workable. Does that ring a bell to you as a union, as a federation, to say a smaller, leaner national airline could work? You can put your conditions later to say, okay, take out 50% of the employees that
I don't want to work with cost amounts.
Yeah. Because that is the reality, Mr. Muniaro.
I'm saying it's cost amounts because all along you have been, where is the money that you have received from selling air tickets and transporting people?
It's not enough. It cannot make up
Where
for this.
is it? Why is it not posted there?
No, but
Comrade, if you want me to be convinced, and I say open up the books, don't open the books one side.
Okay, the books.
Open both sides.
The books do not even
If the
exist.
money has not paid that debt, it tells you the money is in somewhere, the money is still in storage or is stolen.
You're taking it too simplistic.
No.
Mr. Muniaro.
I don't want us.
You're a businessman.
I'm not. I did not here to come to talk business. I want us to be realistic.
But this is
and
business.
fair.
This is business. I'm saying to you, Mr. Muniaro, you are one of the successful farmers in this country. We have seen you in the newspapers. You run your farm. The reason why you are successful at farming is because your expenditures are less than your revenues. What you pay for your vaccines for your animals, your worker salaries, is less than what you make from the auctioning of cattle and whatnot. Air Namibia has failed to do that. So it doesn't matter whether they open up the book and say, this is how much we make. If that is still less than what they owe you and me, then it's not workable.
Comrade, there is no realisticness in it.
Yeah.
And what you are asking is not even convincing. It's not even answers what they would want to answer even.
Yeah.
Because this is things when you speak about something that does not belong to you.
Yeah.
And you say, after I have failed and mismanaged, the only option is to sell your property.
Yeah.
Is that fair? You have no alternatives that you were given, you ignore them.
Yeah.
And you do it a one-man show.
I hear you.
That's not how business is done. If you come at my farm, you find all of us are a team, working together, using 20 eyes to check what cattle's animals, diseases and all things. Observing what is in the camps, how many grass is left over for us for the year. All these things that you must observe.
Well,
really tells me people with degrees and all those things, expertise as they are, and they are being paid for that.
Yeah.
Is it fair enough for us to say tomorrow, how much money does all these government institutions owe City of Windhoek?
Yeah.
Schools, hospitals, all clinics, everything. How much do they owe them? They must next month, all of them must be auctioned. We should not think that way. We cannot sell our country that way.
No, I hear you. But
people who are not capable to run these things must get out.
I hear you. It's a fair comment. Why are you opposed to what we are hearing, the proposition that they want to start afresh? Are you opposed to that proposition? Do you think it will not work to start a new company with lower costs involved, no more leasing of planes, no more whatever? Maybe you say, look, we will fly only regionally, Johannesburg, Gaborone, Ondangwa, Walvis Bay, not Frankfurt, Germany, and all these other places where they go. Will that not work? Are you opposed to that?
I'm opposed to that.
Why?
Why are you leaving the strong foundation that we have? You want me to go and start a new foundation? In the interest of what and who?
Of the nation, of the tax, of treasury that is pumping billions into this thing and it's not working?
No. My answer is simply no, comrade.
So we must continue to just
comrade, let us come around the table.
Yeah.
Who has ever failed or mistakenly did not have expertise to run it?
Yeah.
We have the people that can do that. Let us build on the strong foundation that we have. This airline comes from 1946. It has never gone on its knees. It was never been auctioned at all.
I hear you.
Painful for us to say we must sell our freedom that we have sacrificed for the whole of this. We must sell my pride also. How do you do that? Selling someone's pride. We've had no reason. Calling workers just in the hall and telling them, tomorrow you have no job.
Yeah.
If it was you, why did you not resign?
Yeah.
To be exemplary. All the enterprise companies are all bankrupt. They are all owing money. Why is Jooste not resigning? Why do you want to keep them to do it?
I hear you. As we draw.
So one day, with the workers, one worker just been told that way, in that bad manner, and you find the person going to commit suicide, who will be responsible? You should have been misadministrating a company. You call workers. You discuss the problem on the ground. You tell them the consequences and all things, and possible actions that we must take together. And then say, this is our plan. You don't go and lie there and tell people the union was consulted. And you want us to go and run behind you selling this country with the lies of saying we were consulted.
I hear you. It's a fair comment. I think all of us really sympathize with the workers who are made sacrificial lambs of what seems to be maybe incompetence or lack of will to do things the right way. I have said personally that as we point at the leadership of Air Namibia, we must look beyond just technocrats, your MDs, your general managers. There's been a lot of political interference at Air Namibia, so much that a lot of these good business plans, business proposals that were brought forth to save the airline never saw the light of day. Cabinet never approved them, and so forth and so forth. So on that point, I sympathize with the workers.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Instead of the people working with the board and administrators and those things, the political interference was in such a way that it becomes frustrating to those who were responsible to given the mandate to prosper this beautiful plane of ours. It's a pity that the political interference became too much playing a role of monopoly. A minister fly to America, going to negotiate about on Air Namibia. None of the managers goes alone. And you say, I must say yes to that hammering of actioning of Air Namibia. How the hell is that?
I hear you.
No, go for it.
Okay, so the final question, one or two last questions, is there is, again, a lot of speculation as to why the airline is being liquidated. Too many theories emerging out of this situation. Some people are saying, those of you that are opposed to the liquidation of the company, you are aligned to a particular faction, emerging faction in SWAPO, ahead of next year's Congress, the 2022 Congress, and that you are driving this narrative deliberately to help shape the outcome of that Congress. Are you part of any faction, Mr. Muniaro?
Let me tell you one thing. Air Namibia, it's not a political party. First of all, it's an institution of government.
Yes.
Secondly, the liquidation is not part of politics. The workers losing jobs is not part of politics. It's a matter of lives of people. A person who comes to you and tells you that, tells you already how irresponsible he is as a leader. Wanting to destroy the people's lives and go and lie, says, if my destruction does not work, then those people who is fighting my destruction of this company, of this country, are aligned to a certain clique. Those people, if your brain is already dead, how do you want to continue with these things? How do you link these two things together? Water and oil together? No.
Okay.
It's quite an irresponsible thought. If someone comes with that, send him to me. I will tell him to go to hell.
The last question then. The last question is then, everybody seems to be blaming Leon Jooste, the Minister of Public Enterprises, as far as the liquidation is concerned. You mentioned his name in this interview today. Last year, when President Hage Geingob gave his State of the Nation address, the first time we heard of aspirations to liquidate this company was from the President himself. Nobody seems to actually remember that or even care that it was said by the President, and on whose pleasure Jooste serves. He serves at the pleasure of the President. I'm not saying that the President is the one who triggered it eventually, but this is not a Jooste idea.
Comrade, if that is not the Jooste idea, Jooste, when he went under oath, he's going to protect the interest of his country.
And the President?
Listen first.
Okay.
He must do it that way. he cannot be instructed by someone else, either the president or someone else, to go and destroy the country. It's not the oath he took, even if he was appointed by the president. Secondly, the liquidation. When you take such decisions and you go and tell anyone, whether the president or whoever, I've consulted all the constituencies, I've consulted all these things. Even your own committee of cabinet, you have not consulted. Then you say you have consulted everything, the country must go on a hammer. You want me to say, if you have lied to the president, and the president says yes, all of us must go with your lies. That brought a yes to you. No.
I hear you.
The answer is no.
I hear you. Thank you, Mr. Muniaro, for your...
Jooste must fall. That's my answer.
Jooste must fall. Thank you, sir, for coming. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, and all the best.
Yes.
I'm always available.
Thank you, sir.
Calling the nation to join us Wednesday during the demonstration to save our country from being buried. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's Job Muniaro. He is the Secretary General of the National Union of Namibian Workers, speaking about the demonstration that his federation is going to lead on Wednesday in protest of the liquidation of Air Namibia as mooted and as anticipated in the coming days. Thank you for watching.